Good morning. Good morning. How are we today? I've just been here warming up, getting ready. You should see me moving in just a minute. There we go. I'm just going to put the comments on because I forgot to do that. There we go. Please post a comment to give some encouragement. That'd be great. As I take on 48 kilometres this morning to raise money for our food bank. Along the bottom of the screen is a link to be able to donate. If you're able to donate, that'd be fantastic. Every little helps, as Tesco says. Not only will it pay for food, but it also will go towards the help of running the food bank as well. So yeah, your money will go quite far and it will be used. We're not a big charity, so your money is not siphoned off into a black hole. Every single piece of money donated will be used towards the work of the food bank. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming to watch. Please do post a comment so I can see you this morning. Say hello, drop by. Thanks for dropping in. All right, so we're aiming for 48 kilometres. During my warm-up, I've hit 1.8, but you know, I could just start fresh now, really, and see how we get on. I see how I'm doing and see how we're doing on the donations front, and we'll see how we go. If I'm doing well at 30 miles, I have spoke to my wife and I've decided that if I'm doing well at 30 miles, I might just add on another 20 miles, depending on donations. So then it could end up going into a 50-mile bike ride. But we'll see. We'll see how I'm sitting at 30 miles. I have had COVID-19, so I've got to be a bit careful. My lungs are not as good as what they normally are. I have done longer bike rides in the past, but I've got to be really careful because of getting over this virus. It does attack your lungs, and I do have mild asthma. So just got to be careful and watch the limit. But we're going to aim for 30 miles to begin with and see how we get on. Thanks for coming in, Hannah. Thanks for saying good luck. Yeah. And I hope you enjoy watching, because you know, there's no sports on TV, but biking is a great sport. I'm not a professional by any means. I've ridden with a few friends that used to be professionals. They say it's good fun. When you're outside, biking comes into its own, really, and it's a beautiful sport. It's great for mental health. It's great for clearing the mind. Even when you're riding inside, actually, it's pretty good. You'll find that your brain really, you know, sorts itself out, or mine does. Even when I'm super stressed, I jump on the bike and just go round in Swift. As you can see, these are the streets of London. We're currently cycling through Trafalgar Square. It's pretty actual scale, perfect. And as you'll see, we're going past through Trafalgar Square right now. I chose London this morning because a lot of you will know it. A lot of you will recognise its streets. Yeah, so thanks, Jack. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for cheering me on. Good luck. Yeah, cheers. Thanks, mate. We'll do it. Anybody else, if you're able to post a comment this morning, it'd be really, really great to get you in here. Come and join in the fun. Or watching me crawl 30 miles on bike. 48 kilometres. That's what we're aiming for. As you can see on the screen right now, it says 1.8 miles. But let's see how we get on. How is everybody this morning? Are we good? Anybody else able to post a comment? Colette, yeah, lovely. Thanks a lot. Thanks for saying, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for coming in, watching and supporting. I really appreciate your support, guys. It helps when cycling. It's kind of like when footballers play on the home field. You've got home field advantage. And your fans, cheering you on. Thanks, Hannah, for counting me down. All right, let's see how we get on. As you can tell, with this virus, I've got over it months ago, but it does do weird stuff like this, where you'll be cycling or exercising, and your body just starts coughing. It's really weird. And then it goes. That's why I had to choose 30 miles, because, well, I love being on the bike and I love doing long distances. But when I came down with COVID, it really did attack my lungs. So I think it is really, lungs take a while to repair, apparently. So we'll see how we get on. As you can see, these are the streets of London. We've just gone back round past Trafalgar Square. We should hit Pall Mall afterwards. I hope I said that right. Otherwise it's a bit embarrassing. But yeah, you've got big double-decker buses on the right-hand side to you. Yeah. You got the good old red phone boxes. Should go past your screen in a minute. There you go. Bus stops. It's all to scale this world. It's pretty good. It's safe to ride in as well. As you can see, other riders are online as well. On your right-hand side, you've got a list of riders just riding along. You can do group rides with Zwift as well. It's pretty good. You can group ride together in a group and chat to one another. That's pretty good. And it's nice. It's just community, really. It's nice. Online community. Especially during lockdown, it's been quite a godsend. I've been using Zwift for over a couple of years now. I stopped riding around Rayleigh purely because of the roads. There's just so many potholes, it's unreal. I used to live in London. I used to ride in London. And it weren't half as bad as what it is here. To be honest, I've known 2 people in the cycling group locally that have died whilst riding around Rayleigh and Fundersley. So I took the punch and signed up for Zwift, and I do it all indoors, really. I do miss riding outside, but this is safe. No one's getting in your way, no cars are opening their doors, you're not flying over cars, so it's all good. It's all good. Now, got a question for you all. Who likes cycling? Are you able to post in the comments if you like cycling? And if you do like cycling, what's been your longest distance? Post in the comments. If you like cycling, what's been your longest distance? Three miles. I haven't been on a bike in nearly 15 years. Oh, nice. Anybody else? As you can see, well, you can't see actually, it's out of view. Got the old SIS bars on the ready. But when it all starts, when the body starts kicking in and screaming at me to stop, these bad boys, they keep you going. They help. There was one time when I was in Australia, I was doing, I think it was about, well, it was longer than 48 kilometres because I was on the bike for a good part of the day. Anyway, and I didn't have many of these, so I had one to begin with, and one of them dropped out my pouch, and I only had one left. But the last one got me round to the cafe where we had a bacon sarnie at the end. I've also gone and bought bacon for the end of this, to have a good old bacon sarnie, get those carbs in, get the body back. Also cleared most of my work so I can rest for the day. Well, it will wait for next week, put it that way. If you're on YouTube and watching, could you subscribe? That'd be great, because on a Sunday morning, every morning at 11 a.m, I do something called Coffee with Pastor Jason. And it'd be great to have you guys come along to that. Also, if you're on Facebook, we've got a Facebook group called Coffee with Pastor Jason. It'd be great to have you guys join that. It's just an encouraging space to be in, and you get to see crazy ideas like this birth. I think I posted it there first, saying I'm thinking of doing about a 48-kilometre bike ride, and the guys were really encouraging. I'm like, yeah, go for it. So, yeah, and then we've got the normal church WhatsApp group. Cool, those guys are great. They really cheer me on. And they're like, come on, Jay, you can do this. Even when life gets a bit tough, it's good to have that community around you. And that's a beautiful thing about church. You have a great community of people that are caring, that just care about you, and love you. Well, good church anyway. And that's a beauty, especially in times like this where people are struggling. You know, their mental health is taking a hit. We're all inside in isolation. But yeah, beauty of church really is, even in isolation, we've been able to have a good community, a good chat. We do a little Zoom call every Sunday afternoon, check in on one another. We've also been studying prayer as well. So you don't have to be super religious to go to church, not at all. It's good. It's just great for mental health. And especially days like today, that WhatsApp group, that group on Facebook, are a great place to have, because they really cheer you on. And in life, it's good to have people cheering you on. You know, because sometimes we can have some friends of ours that perhaps maybe don't cheer us on, that, you know, criticise and things like that, and get jealous. Well, good thing about our church is we don't really have people like that. We all kind of cheer each other on, we help each other out. And I think, really, that's kind of how our food bank got going. Well, I'll tell you how our food bank got going. So what happened was, about, I think nearly 2 years ago now, I had two mums in Rayleigh. I won't say who they were, it's not fair. But they come and knocked on the church door, and they said, like, do you have any food? Now, at this point in Rayleigh's a well-known area. It's known to be, you know, quite a prosperous area, and you know, not as bad as other areas. Anyway, so I said, well, I don't. But then I went down to M&S and bought them some food, and it kind of got me thinking, well, if there's these two, there must be more. And then one night, way after that, I was in bed, sleeping, and I got woken up because I heard a voice say, fill the garage with food. And I was like, okay. And as a Christian, you believe that to be God, not voices in your head. And anyway, it just left for a bit. And there was another point in the story where, going forward a bit, where I was in Lidl and I was shopping. I just felt that voice of God say to me, look, ask the lady at the checkout for the manager. So I did. And the poor lady was like, what have I done? And I was like, nothing wrong, nothing wrong. She called the manager, Kate, and she was great. She helped me. I said, look, you know, do you have any unsold food? I didn't actually know really about food banks. I didn't know a lot about them. And it was Kate that told me about a food bank, really, and then said, look, this is how you get started. So I went away, got all the forms, filled them out. Must have been a few weeks, maybe a month later, I walked back into Lidl and we're collecting our first food parcel. Then I'm driving this food around, here, there, and everywhere. And in the end, I managed to put the word out on our Facebook, and I got some volunteers. Well, from then, we did the food bank drop-in sessions on a Friday morning. And to be honest, I never, no one could have predicted this. No one could have saw this coming. People in Rayleigh thought I was crazy. I got a lot of people say to me, Rayleigh doesn't need a food bank. And I just kept saying, look, I feel like Noah building the ark. And they would laugh and I would laugh. And then we got to this recently, COVID. And before COVID, we had a volunteer group of 7 people. I think we're now up to 35 people in our volunteer group. We've got all kinds of different people that are part of us. We've got retired nurses, school teachers, I think an electrician, we got builders, we got mums, and everybody's just jumped in doing their part and helping us. And so now we've got a nice big team of people and we're able to deal with the demand. Now, in our lifetime as a food bank, we've not really had to ask for any money, nor did I ever envision doing this, a long bike ride for the food bank. I really didn't. But the problem has come where we get so much from the supermarkets, as in fresh food, but you don't get tins or anything, and you don't get anything that's going to last more than a week, really. These are called ride-ons in Swift. These are other people on Swift giving a thumbs up. That's a good thing about Swift as well. Anyway, so now we've got running costs, and they've gone up significantly, really. It kind of fits in line to what you're seeing in the news, where food banks are now approaching the government saying, look, this just isn't sustainable. This is not something that we can see long-term happening. I was reading yesterday in the news, it was either the Independent or Guardian, please don't judge me, they're great papers. Well, look, no point going into that. But the fact is, food banks like us are saying, we're seeing a huge increase of people. Anyway, our running costs now, before this, they were about, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 a month. Not much. Now it's £2,000 a month. So you're asking a small little church in Rayleigh with a congregation of about, 15, 20 people of us having to try and find £2,000 a month to just keep the food bank going and just keep people being fed. And really, no, Kevin, we're all right for volunteers. We've got a lot of volunteers. It's not the volunteers that we need to pay for, really. They give up their time. They do so much for the food bank. I couldn't possibly do it without them. But really, it's all about the running costs. And we've worked out that it actually costs £10 a bag right now to keep people going. And so I just said, look, I'll try and do my bit and do a long bike ride, 30 miles, for the food bank to try and keep us going. And the link to donate is going across the bottom of your screen. It says support Pastor Jason's bike ride, that's me, and it's a GoFundMe page. Oh yeah, you can also donate food at the Eastwood Sainsbury's. And then that food will come to us. If you donate it at the Rayleigh Weir Sainsbury's, that goes to Hopeworks. We're all here to help each other, but just so you know where food is going. Because Hopeworks has also helped us out in this time as well. They gave us a ton of bread. And that particular week, we had a lot of people. and that went out. We were also able to pass some of it on to other food banks, like when we get a surplus of food, we pass food on to the Wickford Food Bank. We pass food on to the Southend Soup Kitchen. And I'm also partnering with other food banks now. Hopefully going to find time to ring Billericay Food Bank this week to try and set something up. And yeah, this is the great thing really about food banks. It's all about helping each other. Everyone just mucks in. Also, Hope 316, they've been a massive help to us. Well, personal help to me since the beginning. John there just really helped me to get going. He just said, look, you know, you need this, you need that, put that in play and do this, and showed me how it was all working, because they run the storehouse in Southend and they donate stuff to us as well, like toiletries, because, you know, those things are expensive. We've not actually put toiletries into the budget, really. It just gets ridiculous otherwise. We have applied for a few grants. We applied for Rayleigh Town Council grant. We were denied. We were really not sure why that was, but they denied us at Rayleigh Town Council. And then we also applied for Essex County Council grant. Again, we got denied. Again, I've spoke to them this week, and they're actually going to look into it for us, because they were confused as to why as well, because they said you meet all the criteria. So again, we don't know. They're going to hopefully sort that one out. Rayleigh Town Council, on the other hand, really haven't come forward to help us apply or anything. So yeah, we just, look, this is it really. We're working on the good faith of the people of Rayleigh, Eastwood and surrounding areas, and people online, wherever you are, to try and keep us going really. So yeah, that's the life of the food bank. Now, I saw a few of you post about distances of bikes. Again, the question was, if you like bike riding, what's been your longest distance? Jenny says the furthest I've ever ridden is probably about 100 yards, because I'm too nervous on a bike. Yeah, I can relate to that when I first started cycling. Kevin, great for your support, mate. Thanks for all the messages of support. As you can see, the lungs are starting to play a bit because of this virus. Normally I don't struggle at all when I'm breathing and talking on the bike, because I go out with friends sometimes. Well, not recently, but yeah, it has been frustrating on the grants front, I'm not going to lie. I'm really surprised at Rayleigh Town Council, really. I really don't understand why they told us no. They never really said much. They called me in for a meeting before, and I explained how it all worked, and they just said no. So I don't know. I don't think they really liked about us not on the voucher system. But the thing is, when I first came to the food bank system, I noticed quite quickly that to get a voucher, there's quite a few hoops that someone has to jump through. And I'm not detracting from food banks that do vouchers, because you feel a need. But for us, I noticed that if you're in poverty, you don't need the extra hoops to jump through to just get some food. So we make it freely available. Also, it's a biblical thing. Bible says, freely give what you receive. So look, I'm receiving the food of the food bank. I'm going to freely give it to you. And that's it. And Rayleigh Town Council didn't quite understand that. So I'm a bit confused at that. I think we all are as a team. But we'll see what happens with that. We're also trying to approach Mark Francois, have a conversation with him, see what happens with that. What else? Yeah, we're doing loads. Again, the food, the team is great. They work around the clock to try and keep everybody fed. Yeah. But if you've got any comments to give some encouragement, I'm feeling it a bit now. We're at 8.4 miles, starting to sweat a bit. We've kind of come off the London route a bit. I'm a bit confused as to where I've gone actually. Yeah, I think we're just going around the outskirts, not far from the River Thames. Again, it's pretty nice just cycling, it clears your head, sorts out a few issues in your head. Good for mental health, really. So I think we're 8.8 miles now. Starting to feel it a bit. Where's companions? Is it? Let me see where I am. Yeah, Kevin, they are a bit hard work. Thanks for the encouragement. Right, yeah, so we're all right. I think I'll take a left at the end of this road and then go through the streets of London again. I think that's a bit more entertaining than forests. Plus you can spot, spot a few things. Thanks, Jack. Just getting my breath back. Is anybody enjoying watching the Swift guy moving through? Is this a replacement for football? Kind of hope not, because I like football. But this is indoors, so it helps, and it keeps us all safe. Like I said in the beginning, on Sundays I do a talk online. This week's talk is called Stay Alert for Hope. Kind of played on Boris Johnson there. But it's relevant, it helps people. That's kind of what it's about. You can tune in like this at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. You can come and watch. Again, you can participate like you all are in the comments. And it's trying to just trying to build that community, really. Trying to build that, you know. Have that online, and hopefully when all this is over, we can all meet up and strengthen friendships and things like that. Because it's good to have friends and people around you at this time, or just in life in general, to encourage you and keep you going. There we go. So should be hitting London town in a minute. .48 kilometres an hour, that's 28 miles an hour. Oh, I can't read that for me. Oh, it's starting to ache a bit. Miles. Woo! That was a bit more difficult than the other day. But I'm halfway. No, I'm not halfway. I'm at a quarter of the way, I think. I've still got another 20 miles to go. I'm not very good at maths, as you can probably tell. Luckily, I had volunteers that managed the money side of things at the food bank, because I don't know where we'd be if I had to do it. I'll probably say we've got more money than we have, and then find out we have. So, there we go. Yeah, it's nice and refreshing when you're doing one of those rides and it starts raining. I did London to Brighton years ago, and it was really warm. And I've come off of that, and I was really burnt, actually. I didn't really realise how warm it was that day. Like I said at the beginning, I can't really do that longer distance right now because of my lungs. And coming out of this virus, it plays on your lungs a bit. It's been about 3 months since I had it. It's gone, but the lasting damage is quite much, I think. The virus just attacks your lungs, really. And being slightly asthmatic, it doesn't help. But, you know, we battle on through, we keep going. And essentially, all of this is to just help people. It's to try and feed people that currently they're finding new life situations that wasn't their fault. You know, everybody thought they had job security, they had money for life, if you like. No one would have predicted this at the beginning of the year, that this would be happening. I think at the beginning of the year, it was just coming up in China as a news story, you know. Who would have predicted that months later we'd all be locked down in our houses trying to avoid a virus? And then how it's affected our economy. And I've noticed that in the past couple of weeks, the Bank of England has come out and said that we're about to face the worst recession we've ever seen in 300 years. And that's daunting news, you know. And especially when you're running a food bank and you read news like that, you just think, oh my God, how are we going to cope with this? Because right now, this pandemic, you've had people at home being furloughed. So you've had people, you know, receiving money. And but if people start losing their jobs, as the banks are predicting, well, this food bank situation is going to get worse. And as a smaller food bank, we're not a big food bank, costs are ridiculous. And essentially, we're going to end up with a lot of people. In fact, there was another point, just as the food bank was going, I think it was July last year. Again, I was asleep and I had a dream about a queue of people lining up all the way down Eastwood Road for our food bank. Come out the church doors, and like any pastor or minister, you think, oh, this is from a church. But then in the dream, again, the voice said, they're here for the food. And then, coming out of that dream many months ago, I thought, well, that's a bit crazy dream. I don't normally have dreams like that. And now we're sitting at this, and I kind of sit here and I'm wondering, was God pre-warning me? Because the thing is, in the Bible, there's a book called the Book of Daniel. And essentially, the Book of Daniel is about a guy having dreams for King Nebuchadnezzar. And in these dreams, King Nebuchadnezzar is having dreams, and Daniel can then interpret those dreams by God giving him dreams, right? And he keeps going back to King Nebuchadnezzar saying, look, this is what's going to happen. And every time Daniel was correct. He got it spot on. And so when you read stories like that, and then you have dreams like I've had, you kind of wonder, what's God doing? Like everybody says. Like everybody says, God works in mysterious ways, And he does. But he does work in mysterious ways, but he also works in relationship ways with you. He comes alongside you and helps you and, brings you through life's troubles. And anybody I speak to right now, because, people are stressing out. We're all stressing out a bit. And we're wondering, what does the future hold? Especially seeing headlines come out like Bank of England saying worst recession in 300 years. You kind of start thinking, what's in it? What's in it for me and my family now? And essentially, again, in the Bible, there's so many examples of when a whole country would go from prosperity to famine. And God always seemed to use someone in that time, like the book of Joseph. You've got a guy. Now, if you read Joseph's life, that was harsh. The boy starts off, he gets a dream, again by God, except he goes to his brothers and he annoys them. He tells them about the dream and they get really annoyed. And then essentially they stick him in a ditch because he said to them, I'm going to rule over you. I've had this dream. I'm going to rule over you guys. And to say that to anybody, you're going to be like, sorry, mate, what? You ain't ruling over me. Anyway, so what happens is Joseph finds himself in a ditch. His brothers take back his dream petticoat, as we all know, the multicolored rainbow coat, and they shred it up a bit, and they say to their dad, we've lost Joseph. He's been in an accident, he's died, and this is all that's left. Well, what happens in that is one of the brothers, to himself, had planned to later go back and help his brother out the ditch. But then some Egyptian travelers come by, they see Joseph in the ditch, they help him out the ditch, but then they put him in slavery. So now he's had a dream where he's got the provision of his family, he's happy, he thinks he's going to become the ruler over his family, and now he's with some Egyptian travelers as a slave. Now, to be a slave in those times was a horrible thing to have. Anyway, course of events, a lot of confusion, a lot of not knowing what's going on. He ends up working for one of Pharaoh's guards, I believe, and he shows, God gives him favor in this time, is so grueling in his life. Well, God gives him favor, and this Pharaoh's guard guy promotes him through the family. So then Joseph ends up becoming, quite high up in his household. And now he's thinking, yes, God's redeemed me. Well, this guy goes off to war, I think it was, and his wife takes a liking to Joseph. So then she says, come and sleep with me. Now, Joseph is a man that, he knew God, and he knew what was good for him. And he knew that if he went to bed with this woman, his life was going to go down. So he rightly said, no, you're married. I'm not interested in that. Joseph ended up growing up to be a man of, credentials, someone that people you could trust. Anyway, this woman over a few months keeps saying to Joseph, come to bed with me, come to bed with me. One night, she grabs Joseph, and Joseph runs and leaves his coat, another coat, behind. Anyway, this woman screams and says, Joseph's tried to rape me. Look, I've got his jacket. And he's wrongfully accused. Well, Pharaoh's guard, I think it is, comes back and then finds out. He finds Joseph and they chuck him in Pharaoh's prison. Now, Pharaoh's prison, Joseph finds himself now in prison. Again, worst case, like back in that ditch. And he's wondering, God, where are you? Like, come on, mate. I've been faithful. I've been true. And I'm in a prison. I think a few years go by, and basically, another guy comes in the prison, and he starts talking about dreams. And Pharaoh says to him, Joseph says to the guy, well, what's Pharaoh's dream that he's having? Well, the guy tells Joseph, and Joseph tells this guy what the dream means. And then he says to the guy, when you go and tell Pharaoh, please don't forget about me and mention my name. That basically meant, if you mention my name, not only am I out of here, but we're out of here, both together. Anyway, the guy does it, doesn't mention Joseph's name. Joseph's stuck in prison for some time longer. Now, eventually, Joseph comes out of prison because Pharaoh has another dream. And then, and only then, does the guy mention Joseph and says, look, I didn't really interpret the first dream. It's this guy. So Joseph finally comes out in front of Pharaoh after all these years. Now, Joseph is, I think, 30 at this time. So he's gone through this from a young boy to 30 years old. And he stands in front of Pharaoh and interprets the dream. Well, Pharaoh makes him second in command over all of Egypt. Now, in this time, Joseph's brothers and their father go through a famine in their land. So they all head to Egypt. And Joseph sees his family walk in. They're asking for food. They're begging for food. And his brothers see Joseph and they see him and go, oh no, Joseph's going to, let's go to Big Ben. Joseph is going to do us in. And he says this to them, right? And it's this line I've been getting to, because I want you to hold on to this. Joseph says to his brothers, what you used for bad, my God used for good. And essentially what happens is Joseph rules over his brothers. He helps them out. He gives them the best land. Their dad comes back, sees Joseph reunited. Everyone's happy. But it's that line. And in times like this, where it all seems dismal, where you're seeing headlines come out saying, banks losing 95% profit, Bank of England saying, worst recession in 300 years. As someone who is a Christian and believes in God, I take solace from lines like that, because the Bible has shown consistently people that have gone through bad and God's brought them out for good. And that's my hope. And that's the hope I want everybody to get hold of. Not just you guys listening today. That's just hope that I want everybody to get hold of. Because years later, Jesus comes, the Son of God, and dies on a cross for us. Now, when you hear that, we're now more than 2,000 years later. And like me, I wasn't always a Christian. I didn't really understand what that exactly meant in life. Well, I explained it this way last week, and I think it's a good way to explain it. In these times, before this has happened, wait a minute, I need a drink. And a bit of a banana. Hannah, where are we at? Because I can't see now, my glasses are steamed up. I think it says 14 miles. Oh yeah, there we go. That's good. It says 23 kilometres on here, so must be about 14. Now, getting back to where I was. So, Jesus, I was not a Christian, and I'll share my story with you in a minute, but I just want to go through this. There's a promise that's come down, and it's written in the Bible, but it's also written in other books. Like, you can really check the Bible's credentials, because you can go off on a history tour, and you'll see how people have proven the Bible over the centuries to be, legit. And in our time, I think everybody worries about legitimacy. Is this legit? Or is this another scam? Because, we all go online and you've got to watch yourself. There's scams everywhere. Well, it just so happens that this isn't a scam. It is legit. But where we've had it so much, we're all a bit, not sure. And that's right, it's good to be wise and not sure about things. But the Bible is legit. Okay, you can go check the history of it if you want. Now, in the Bible, there's a promise. And the promise is quite simple. The Son of God, the guy that helped Joseph out, helped Daniel out, brought his son to the earth. Now, Christians will say the following line, and it baffles non-Christians or people that don't believe in Christ. And I get it. They say this: Christ has come and he's died for you, and your sins are forgiven. And you'll think, well, that's great, mate, but how is that relevant to me today? Well, I described it last week as a bit like this. In these times, before we've got to now, before COVID, there was promotion of cars and finance. And the word debt was changed to credit, right? So we've all psychologically been programmed to think that credit is good. Now, what happens is we end up borrowing more credit than what we can actually pay. So we don't really worry about it at the time because we think we've got a job for life, it's going to be okay. We've taken out high mortgages and we think it's going to be okay, I've got a job, we can pay this, we can afford it. And no one has really, there's a statistic that's come out recently. I love how this stuff comes out when the economy tanks, not before. Because if this come out before, it probably would have saved a lot of people. There's a statistic that says a lot of people have no more than £100 saved in their accounts. This was at the height of the economy when it was booming, right? Well, people have gone and borrowed more than they can owe. Now, there's a parable, a story in the Bible about a man that has a lot of debt. And his, I call it a bank manager, the Bible calls it a king, servant, but I'm making it relevant to today. You can go read it. It's in Matthew. Please be my guest to read it. It's good to read it. But bank manager calls him in and said, you owe me A, B, C, and D. You owe me this much. And it's more than what the guy can pay. So then the guy freaks out. He goes, I've borrowed more than I can owe and pay and this, that, and the other. And then the bank manager says, okay, your debt's forgiven. You can go on with your life. And essentially, that's what sin is. Credit. Okay? Now, we've also been programmed not to take note of the word sin. We've all got to the point that in our languages today, the modern millennial language, if you like, sin, the word sin doesn't really exist. No one really understands it. Well, the moment you put sin to debt, well, now it starts to make sense. And it simply means this. You've gone and borrowed too much in your life, and so there's no way of you paying that back. You might have hurt people. You might have gone and done some silly things. You might feel bad about certain circumstances. You might feel that you've gone along in life and you've hurt quite a lot of people. You might have screwed a few people over in money and other things. And well, the point in Jesus is that he, like the bank manager, says to you, all your debt, credit, sin is forgiven. But to do that, you've got to believe in me. Okay? Jesus, not myself, Jesus. He says this, you have to believe in me, for I am the truth and the life. The way to the Father, remember the story of Joseph just a few minutes ago, that guy, is through me. Well, when you have an offer like that, it's a great, you should take that, because you end up sorting your life out. And let's face it, we've all got a bit of an empty feeling in our lives. Yeah, in the midst of your soul, there's a gap, there's a feeling there. And the way we feel that is by shopping. It's by buying stuff. It's by, getting things. It makes you feel happy for a moment. If you're a fitness freak, not like me, but, like this, you do exercise for a moment, for a long period, it makes you feel good. And it makes you feel like you can tackle the world, take people on, you can fight the world. But all of that, and mindfulness and yoga, it's all the same. All of that only lasts for a moment. It's not eternal. It doesn't help you when you have the deepest fear in your life of maybe losing your job. Because we've also made our work our life. We've all overworked. I've done it. We've all made our work our life. Let's go back to Buckingham Palace. We've all made work our life. And so when your job, your security, is whipped away from you, well, what you got left? Nothing. You and your family, or you and your singleness, or on your own, you got nothing left. And this is the point. This is where the Bible comes in. In the relevancy of today, in the confusing times, in the not knowing times, Jesus has come and has already paid these debts. Your future debts, your debts today, your debt's gone. Your credit. He's refilled your credit tank. Yeah? And all you have to do is accept him. Now, what does that look like? Well, accepting Jesus isn't necessarily saying that you lose total control of your life. It's not. You still get to go to work, you still get to live your life, but your direction and where you're heading changes. And it changes for a good thing, for the better. I'm going to tell you my story now, okay? So, the year was 2012, Olympic year. In fact, the London cycling was going on. when this was happening. Everybody around London and England was in their element. I was working for a company called Manchester United Football Club. Don't judge me, but they are a great team. I wasn't a fan when I joined, but I became a fan later on. Thanks, guys. Thanks for cheering me on. Anyway, so in this time, people were so happy on my social media, Facebook. It was a hyper thing. I'm not even sure if Instagram existed at this point. I can't remember. I wasn't an Instagram person. I'm still not an Instagram person. Sorry, guys. Anyway, and I just was in a really bad place. I spent more in money than I could afford. I tried to win the love of a girl with money and items and material things. Because again, that's another thing. In our lives, none of us have learned how to love. We all think that loving someone is about buying them gifts. It's about overflowing them with items. Because that's the world that we've grown up in. That's the culture we've grown up in. And I was that person. If I had a girlfriend, you can note that basically she was going to get a lot of gifts. And I never took notice of my bank balance. And I always borrowed money. And it got to the point where this particular person I was with wasn't very nice. And we ended the relationship. But I'd fallen out with my family. I'd fallen out with my friends. I'd actually gone to China for a month before this. And I remember climbing Yellow Mountain. And I stood at the top of this mountain. Now, I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know God. I was almost after the path of enlightenment through Tai Chi, because I did Tai Chi. And I stood at this top of the mountain before all of this happened. And I looked out over Yellow Mountain and the Chinese, skyline at that point. It's not skyline, it's just mountains and trees and fog. It's great though, it's beautiful. And I heard a voice say to me, when you get home, it's all going to change, but you will be okay. I didn't know God at that time, all right? And I got home, and exactly what that voice said to me happened. I found myself in London. Yes, hit my weekly goal, 56 kilometres, get in. I found myself in London on my own. I found myself upset. I'd fallen out with my family. I'd fallen out with friends. And this girl had left me. And everybody, it was such a weird time for me because I remember everybody was so happy about the Olympics. And I just didn't want to be here. In fact, there was a time where people at Manchester United invited me out for drinks, and we went off to, I think it was Portsmouth. And, when it was Bristol. We went off to Bristol, and I got really drunk, and I had one friend. And he came with me, right? And I got so drunk that I went up to the 15th floor in our hotel, and I tried to jump out the window. And this friend, his name is Norman, he grabbed my leg and stopped me from doing it. Just as I was jumping. I don't remember much of this. But then apparently I tried to do it again and he knocked me out. I woke up the next day and I said to him, last night, it was like I was stepped in front of a fan, like a massive fan. And he was like, we tried to jump out the window, Jason. And I was in a bad place. Anyway, I got back to my flat in London and I started praying to God. And I said to God, look, can you fix these 4 things in my life? One of them was money. I was in so much debt. I think 5-6 grand's worth of debt. The second one was my link with my family. The third one was friends. I just said, look, I want some friends. And the fourth one was to be happy. Well, I went to bed that night and I cried myself to sleep, if I'm honest. And the next day, someone I used to work with, who I'm now really good friends with, called Gillian, she texted me. And she started talking to me. Now a single guy in London on your own, female attention. It's good. You're gonna text back, it's good chat. Anyway, she invited me to church. I think it took her 3-4 weeks of inviting. And I turn up late to the service, and I walk into this Dominion Theatre where she told me it was. And I walk in and I go up to this girl and I'm asking where the church is, because my view of church back then was church buildings and, steeples and religion. And the girl said to me this, and I've never forgot this line: the people are the church, not the buildings. And I walk into the service. I sit in the Dominion Theatre and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm not paid for a ticket. I get to sit in this great theatre. And I watch this sermon by this woman. And it was about science and religion, science and God, actually. And I could give you a good argument on why Jesus didn't exist. I was one of those. I had it all. Argument after argument. I loved arguing with a Christian because I could tell them exactly why Jesus didn't exist. Science, Genesis, time, whatever. And she stood there and gave this lecture almost. And it threw me for miles because she said, scientifically, you can't prove God. And I was like, that's interesting. But you can prove him historically. I don't really remember much else. Anyway, I walk out. Let's go to classic. I walk out of that service and my friend catches me and she says, come to the pub. So I go to the pub with them and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Pub, Christians don't really go together, do they? Anyway, so I sit there and I'm chatting to all her friends and I'm telling them about Buddhism and I'm telling them about my path of enlightenment and I'm telling them about Tai Chi. I had no clue. Right? I sounded like some expert. I sounded like some guy that knew it all, what was going on. And they gracefully sat there and listened to me. Then, time went on. This was about midday. By the time it got to 5:30 p.m, Gillian said to me, why don't you come into the service? And I went, no, I'm going to go home now. Because I felt that I'd proven my point. I'd disproved God once again. And I was Mr. Know-it-all. So she said to me and got real with me, Jason, you're going to go back to an empty flat for the rest of the night. What are you going to do? And that hit me. And I was like, good point. I hadn't thought that far ahead. So I went into the service. And this time I walked in at the beginning of the service and this band comes on. Now, this band was called Hillsong. And this band, I didn't know at the time, they've won Grammy Awards, they've won artistic awards. They are well known in the artist series, in the band area. And their line is, we're the band that nobody knows outside of the church life. And I was a person, I've been to B Festival, I've been to Reading Festival, I've lived a life. And I sat there and I was blown away first by this band. And I'm sitting in the chair and I start listening to this woman preaching. And she's talking about the feeding of the 5,000. And she stops midway through the service, her sermon, and she says the following line: there's someone in here tonight that your life is broken in pieces and God is going to turn you round, turn your life into a tapestry so that you can go and save others. And I knew that moment right then that was God. That was him saying to me, Jason, I've got your back. And it was later on in this whole journey that I came across a Bible verse. And it says this: while we were still sinners, remember what I said about sin, debt, credit, not knowing God? God loves us. While we were still sinners, God loves us. So you got a young boy at this time. I just was 21, I think, 10 years ago. And I'm sitting in this service. And this woman says this line of, he's going to put your life together like a tapestry. Now, how beautiful is a tapestry? And he's going to turn you round to go and save others. And that was the beginning of my journey with Jesus. Now, I'm going to fast forward a while because this brings me up to my point of today. And my point of today is this. The Jason that walked into that theatre nearly 10 years ago couldn't give a rat's ass about anybody but myself. I'm going to be honest here. I was a selfish individual. I only thought about myself. I didn't really care about people. I didn't really care about my family. I used to just think, what's in it for me? How can I get through this? How can I better myself? Now, if you said to that Jason all those years ago that he's going to be sat on a bike today, raising money for a food bank to feed people, and this is really of not much benefit to him, he'd tell you to jog on. And that's the change that Jesus will do in your life. He will, like I said in the beginning, he will change your life for the better. When you say, Jesus, come into my life, he doesn't take it over, but he does change your direction. He changes your heart and he changes your mind. And he gets you through life's storms. Now, look, in my whole time of doing this journey with Christ, I went to Hillsong College in Australia. Again, if you would have said to Jason years ago, you're going to leave your job, your security, and you're going to go to Hillsong College in Australia, whole other country, and study to be a pastor, I would have said, no, mate, you're gone. But I did. Because again, God made it apparent that that's what he wanted me to do. And I'm sitting here today and I'm reflecting on all of this, and he solved my debt. He made it well with my family. I got out of debt and I got happy. I got a lot more friends than I could count on one hand. Jesus has done exactly what that woman said. He will turn your life around into a tapestry so you can go and tell others or save others. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm telling you about this because I want you to walk away from this today and think there is more to life. Yes, there's these headlines. Yes, there's these bad times coming. But there is a Christ that you can hope and you can believe in to help you through your life. There is a Christ that will fill that void that you are feeling. Now, I know there's someone watching this right now, and I've been talking, and you've been feeling like there is something moving inside of you today. Like something just isn't quite right. And I want to ask you, could God make your life into a tapestry so you could go and tell others? He's done it to me. He's done it to many. He's done it to thousands upon thousands. And you've sat here and you've watched a guy cycle 22 miles on a bike while I'm talking to you about what's happened to me. And inside of you, inside of your heart, there's a whisper going on. There's a whisper saying, I want you to do this. I want you to believe in me. I want you to take this moment in this life, this opportunity to come and follow me. Now, if that's you today, I want to help you to get to know Jesus. And it's simple. All you have to do is say a prayer with me. And we're going to do this together. All I want you to do is repeat this after me. Lord Jesus Christ, I have done wrong in my life. Will you help me to believe in you? Will you help me to make you God over my life? Forgive me of all my debt, of all my sins, and make it well in my life to go and tell others. In Jesus' name, please say amen. Now, if you prayed that prayer today, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about your story. I'd love to hear what you're going through. And I want to help you. I want to come alongside you. And I want to help you get to know Jesus some more. Because at the end of the day, I walked into a church broken. I walked into a church with no finances. I walked into a church with so much debt, it was unreal. I walked into a church feeling suicidal. I walked into a church feeling anxiety, stress, and pain. And those were 10 years ago. And God got hold of me, and He will get hold of you, and He will change your life. And yes, this country is going to go into one of its worst times. But you, my friend, you with Jesus, He's going to help you. He's going to guide you. He's going to provide for you. And He's going to do what He did in my life to you. So please, if you did say that prayer today, can you email me? Can you email Pastor Jason at recchurch.co.uk? Because I want to hear from you, and I want to help you get through this life, get through this time. Now, perhaps you've listened to a guy like me rattle on for a while, and you think I'm crazy. You think I'm a Fruit Loop. I did when I first heard. Well, when I first heard this message, I grabbed hold of it. But it was afterwards that I thought, have I just signed up to a Fruit Loop community? And, and it was hard to prove my faith in Christ. And I went on a bit of a journey. I went and tried to, find out historically about this. And it's all come true for me. I found historical proof. I found proof that Jesus has lived. And look, if you're not sure about all of this, again, email me, Pastor Jason Content at recchurch.co.uk, and I will happily talk to you. It's not an argument. It's not a debate. It's two people coming together on a journey of life to try and help one another so that you can make the right decisions in life, so that you can allow God to turn your life around. Now, I want to thank you all today for coming on and listening to me rattle on. And thanks for the messages. Now, we're 23.4 miles in. And if I'm honest, when I get to speak about God, it becomes easy. It just becomes like, no problems. The Aussies have a saying, no worries, mate. And I love that saying. Because essentially, when you're with God and life comes by and it takes you down a hole, when you're with God and you put your faith in Him, you can simply turn around to your friends and family and say, no worries, mate. I've done it time and time again. My own parents have sometimes asked, how are you going to get through this season? How are you going to get through that? And I just say, God will help me. God will be with me. And He has. He's delivered every time. I've got another story for you all in a minute. I've only recently, a couple of years ago, but I'm just going to take a quick eating break. I'm going to continue cycling, but I want to talk about the next story. Now, if you've enjoyed this and you've enjoyed listening and watching, please can you comment, just so I know that we're all in this together. And your comments are an encouragement to me. And if you can donate, the link is going by the bottom of your screen. And we do need, the food bank needs your help. It needs your money. It needs your support. So keep going. Wait, I've just realised. I just told you my email wrong. My email is pastorjason@recchurch.co.uk. I don't know why I got that wrong, but you know, cycling, heat at the moment, talking. pastorjason@recchurch.co.uk. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see some comments of people, if that's right. Could you all just stick a comment in, say hello, give us some, encouragement along the way. Thanks to all those that have commented. Hey, my cousin has come on, Katie Taylor. Hello to my cousin Jason. Keep going. Get involved. Adele, come on, Jason. Get going. Manchester United. Yeah, look, we're not all perfect. Hannah, nearly at 20 miles. Oh, yeah, I'm 24.4 miles. Hazel, well done, Jason. Keep going. Jack, amen. Come on. Kevin, great, enjoyable journey. Encouraging testimonial. Thanks, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Is there anybody else? Like they said on the film in Titanic when they were in the boat, is there anybody else? Keep the encouragement coming, guys. It helps. Got to take my glasses off. Sweating a bit now. What's going on in the world? Let's have a look. Oh, amazing. Someone that lives nowhere near Rayleigh has just said that they've donated. Thank you so much. The food bank volunteers are busy working away. Come on, let's give them a cheer on, guys. Can we give them a cheer on? Can we give them a thumbs up on this? Some of them are watching today. Come on, give it a thumbs up. This is not just about me, it's about the food bank as well. They're supporting and always helping and being with us and making sure it all works. Like I said at the beginning, the food bank wouldn't, the volunteers with the food bank, it wouldn't be possible without them. Hannah, how much have we donated? How much have we received so far on the GoFundMe? Could you put the amount in the comments? Is that possible? Now, like any good cyclist, I'm going up a hill near the end of the ride, kind of clicks into you. Currently sitting at £320. Come on, guys. That's amazing. Before this, I think it was at 200 quid. Did you get the word out? Did you share? Did we get it up a bit more? We need to get to 1,000. Did you share the link to the YouTube, the Facebook? Did you share the link to donate? Let's see if we can get this up together. Community spirit, come on. Tell all your friends, tell your family. There's this crazy guy indoors doing 30 miles for a food bank. We're 5 miles from the end. I see how I'm sitting at 30. I tell you what, if we get another £100 in the last 5 miles, I'll do another 10 miles. You guys, help us out. If you can get another £100 in the last 5 miles, I'll do another 10 miles to keep us going. I want to try and hit near the £500 mark at least. This is hard enough as it is, but willing to put it in, willing to do it. Hannah, could you let us know when we get to £420? Hopefully it's within the next 5 miles. So that should give you about, I think, 15 minutes to get the word out, to get donating. If we get it in the next 5 miles, I'll do another 10 miles. Hannah, could you let all the WhatsApp groups know what I've said? Let's see if we can come together as a community of people and raise some money for the food bank. That's great work so far, 320. Thank you for that. But let's see if we can push another £100 into the account in the next 4 miles. If we can do that, I'll do another 10 miles on this bike right now. Past the 30-mile mark, I'll up it to 40. If we get another £100 in the GoFundMe account. Because I'm that crazy. The knees are starting to hurt a bit, but I'll be all right. There's some people give me a bit of a cheer on, give me a bit of help. Are you getting the word out? Say this crazy guy on this bike, come and watch him, come and donate. He said if we get another £100 in the next 3.9 miles, then he'll do another 10 miles on the bike. Legs are starting to hurt, but I can do it. I think. Another £100, come on. Link to donate's going along the bottom, making it really easy for you to share it out. We've been going for an hour now. Woo. All right, guys, come on. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for the encouragement. If we can get another £100 donated by the time we get to 30 miles, I'll do another 10 miles just for it. Come on, that's a challenge. Joe Wicks, eat your heart out. That's what you call a challenge. Who's been doing PE with Joe Wicks? Come on, I want to hear from you. Oh, my legs. I've got to stand up. Ah. Oh. Can we get another £100 in the account by 30 miles? And I'll do another 10 miles to keep us going. Come on. Get the word out. Share the link. Share this live. Share this video. Share everything. Don't share your life details, but share everything. Have a word with your friends, your family. Say, look, there's this crazy guy. He's been doing this 30-mile bike ride all morning. And he's saying, if we can get another £100 in the GoFundMe account, he'll do another 10 miles. Come on, let's work together as a community of people. See that, Kevin? Let's work together as a community of people to try and raise as much money as possible for the food bank. Oh. Oh. Now, where's this? That's it. From that. Can we get it to £100 by 30 miles into the GoFundMe account, and I'll do another 10 miles. Another 10. That's what I'm talking about. Another £100 in the GoFundMe account. 10 miles. Come on. Who wants to see some of that? Some suffering. Makes for an interesting watch, I think. I'd watch it. Crazy guy on the bike. Couple of people share the link as well for the YouTube and Facebook Live. Get the word out. Tell people, look, this guy's near 30 miles. He said he'll do 30 miles. He's trying to raise money for the food bank. If we can get it another £100 in, this crazy guy said he'll go another 10 miles. In kilometres, I don't know, I think that's another 20 kilometres. No, it ain't. It's enough 15 kilometres. We're nearly at the top of the hill. Got every biker knows a good hill at the end is good. Gets those legs pumping. It's a 335-mile climb. Three 7-mile climb. We've dropped down to 8 kilometres an hour. This is Box Hill, I believe. We're going to go up to the top of it, go round and go back into the city of London. I need to just grab a tissue. Hold on. Not stop, just blow my nose. We'll get there, don't worry. Was nice to rest the legs for a second though. All right, here we go. Back on. Need to actually move this over a bit. That's it. Right. Right, Miss Hannah, where are we on the GoFundMe page? Legs are hurting. Oh, we're not watching me anymore. I need to sort that out. Because otherwise you guys won't know what's going on. Hit that. Yeah, there we go. We're back. He was a faster rider than me. You know. So in any sport, there's people better than you. But so what? It's good. It's something to aim for. Oh. We're at 27 miles. Can we get from £320 to £420 by 30 miles? If so, I'll do another 10 miles. Come on, people, let's work together. I'll do the miles, you guys do the fundraising. It's all about community, it's all about working together, because together we can do more. Like I found out at the beginning of this journey with the food bank, if I did all this on my own, we wouldn't be where we are today. It's to the help of the food bank community. Even today, they're organising pickups from supermarkets on a Saturday morning. Now that's dedication. They're volunteers. They ain't paid for what they're doing. But together, we've made a food bank. We're able to feed people. There was Trussell Trust this year, only a few weeks ago, that said food banks have seen a rise of 81% due to this pandemic. Now, we've seen a rise because before this, I think we were doing about maybe 60 people a week. I think we're now verging on to about 150 to 200 a week. So we got a lot more people coming along. And with this economy going the way it is, we reckon we're going to see probably more people come through our doors. Because the story we keep hearing in Rayleigh for the people that live there is, and it's not their fault, they thought they had a job for life. So they went and got a big mortgage, a nice house, because we're told we deserve those things if you work hard. And they thought they can hold on to their jobs. And now this happens. And even in this pandemic, people haven't been able to afford their mortgages. Well, soon, the mortgage pay break's going to stop. When that happens, people are going to have to sell their houses. Also, the furlough scheme is going to be halved. All that around the same time. So you're going to see a lot of companies come out and say, we can't exist anymore, loss of jobs. This isn't to scare people. This is not to scare you. This is just to tell you what's going on, to tell you why things like the food bank, is needed right now in this time. And it's needed right now. So that's what we're here for. We're here to try and support as many people as possible. It don't matter who you are. We don't care who you are. If you're struggling and you're finding it hard to get by, you're finding it hard to buy food, just come to us and we'll give you food. We'll help you out. The best way of using a food bank isn't to wait for your cupboards to become bare or empty. It's to get to the point where they're starting to look a bit empty and just start turning up at our food bank in Rayleigh, and we will give you food. We will help you. We do not judge. We love and we care for people. All the volunteers, every single one of them, have the same ethos. We're all here to help you. We're all here to love you. We're all here to care for you. And you don't have to go to church to come to this food bank. No. Just come in as you are. And if you need food, we'll give you food. Now, how are we doing on the fundraising part, guys? Are we near £420? Come on. Let's hear it. We're at 27.4 miles. Let's see if we can get to 30. If we are at 30 and there's 420 sitting in that account, I'll do another 10 miles. As you can see, I'm starting to struggle because I haven't gone any further than 30 miles an hour, really. 30 miles, not 30 miles an hour. So for me to say another 10, that's going to be difficult, but I'm willing to do it to try and raise as much money as possible so that in the months to come, there's enough food for those people that are about to lose their jobs. So there's enough food for those single mums that can't afford to feed their children. So there's enough food for that family already struggling. So there's enough food for that single person that's been in isolation all this time. So there's enough food for everybody. And that's the idea. As a community of people, we can help each other. We can get through this together. Let me just see where I am on the map. Got a little while to go till we get round to the London town. I think if we hit the next corner, it might go downhill a bit, which would be quite nice. Who's enjoyed this? Who's enjoyed watching? Has it helped pass the time? That's it. Come on, people. Get the word out. See what's going on. Nice. Thanks, Jenny. So am I. I'm looking forward to the finish line. All right, we're 1 mile now. Okay, Hannah. When it says 29.5, could you post in how much is in the GoFundMe account? So then I'll see if I can add on another 10 miles. Legs are killing me, guys. But we're going down Box Hill now. 29.6. All right, Hannah, how much we got in that GoFundMe account? Wow. Wow. Legs are hurting, but we can do this. Come on, guys. Try and share it. Share the link. Try and raise as much money as possible for this food bank. Now, at 29 miles, if there's 420 in the GoFundMe account, I'll do another 10 miles. So, 30 miles is what I said I would do at the beginning. Now we're near 30. If there's 420 in the account, I'll stick on another 10 miles. All right, 30 miles. We've done it. Hannah, how much is in the GoFundMe account? Can you post it in the comments? Come on, I kind of need to know, really. Yeah, London Sound, come on. I need to take something because my legs are hurting. think take a electrolyte gel. Yeah. No, not having that one. It's horrible. What is this one? Berry. This is the only problem with these. Right. Ugh. Forget how bad these things taste. Ow. Come on. Come on. We're at 31. Oh. I need to know how much is in the GoFundMe account to see if I continue or not. Can anyone tell me? If you go onto the page, the link, and then just press on it, it'll tell you the amount that's in there. If it's at 420, I'll do another 10. And if you post it in the comments, that'll really help. And they're disgusting. What's going on? Come on, people. You need to know. Okay, come on. Four out the four. Wow. Okay, could someone just click on the GoFundMe account and just let me know in the comments what the balance is? So then I know whether to continue or not for another 10 miles. Come on, guys. Just let me know the amount in the account. If it says 420, I said I'll do another 10 miles and 30 miles. So then it's a 40-mile bike ride instead of a 30. I'm struggling, as you can see, as we've got over 30. I just need to know the amount in the account. £330. All right. Thanks, Jenny. I'm going to push it to 35. If at 35, there's near £400 in the account, then I'll do another 5. Let's see what happens. I need a bit of a banana. Who's with me? Give me a thumbs up or a comment. Get some isotope in me. Try and get me through the next few miles. I can feel my legs screaming at me right now because I've not gone over 30 miles in a long time. So hopefully my legs should be okay. If not, they're going to hurt. The goal was 30 miles. We've done 30 miles, and with your help today, we've got the GoFundMe account up to £330. 330, yeah? I said I'll do 5 more miles, get it to 35. If at 35 we're near the £400 mark, I'll do another 5. Let's see how we get on. I've got to stop at 2 because someone's coming over, but, well, to be honest, I'll probably fall off the bike by then, so. Because my legs will just scream at me, and when they scream at you, you can only push it so long. Be nice to clock up a new personal record of 40. That'd be nice. But also what'd be great is to walk away with some money for the food bank. And if it's around £400, that's a good effort. We were hoping for 1,000 just to try and cover some costs, as we've got up to it. So I'm trying to do my best. We said we'd do a 30-mile bike ride. I'm now pushing it to 35. If you're able to donate, the link is going across the bottom of the screen. And if we can get it up to around 400 or even 500, that would be great. If we're at 400, I'll push the ride up to 40 miles. So that's 10 miles more than I originally said. My legs and everything's hurting, but we'll be all right. This is all for the food bank to help people, to pay for our services, to pay for our running costs, to pay for food, to keep feeding people. We've seen an increase at the food bank. If you're able to help by donating any amount at all at the GoFundMe link, that would be fantastic. Like I said, the ride was originally 30 miles. I'm pushing it to 35. If we've got £400 in the account by then I'll push it to 40 and we'll go from there. My left leg is starting to hurt a bit, and I feel like the muscle will start to spasm a bit, but should be okay. I haven't gone for 40 for a very long time, so we'll see how we get on. It's all about supporting people, loving people, helping people. It's all about helping them, giving them food, giving them advice. We're hoping to one day hold a debt centre in Rayleigh as well, so that we can help people out of debt. That's our long-term vision. We're also, maybe in years to come, hoping to hold like mental health counselling. That'll be free because, well, my wife, she works in the mental health industry, and the government funding in that area is gone. Well, not gone, it's gone down a lot. But we're predicting that in a few years, children's mental health especially, there just won't be enough money. So then, that's an opportunity for us to step in and try and help people with their mental health. But that's a long-term goal. Today, all we're doing is trying to raise enough money to pay our running costs and to pay for some food to keep people fed. So if you're able to donate and you're able to help, please press on the GoFundMe link that's going along the bottom of your page on this video. My legs. We originally said 30 miles, but I'm pushing it to 35. We'll see how we get on. Still at 330. Thanks, Hannah. Come on, guys. If we're able to get to near 400, I'll stick on another 5 miles to get us to 40. 400 pounds for 40 miles. That's £1 a mile. Come on. That's all right, isn't it? That's cheap. £1 a mile. Share the link, guys. Get it out. See if we can get the word out to try and raise as much as possible. This is all about helping people. It's all about giving people hope, a future, getting people out of this problem, getting people out of debt, poverty. It's all about that. So if you're able to donate, please press on the link going across the bottom of your page. If you're able to share it, that'll be fantastic. Right, we're at 34.1 mile. Let's head to Big Ben. Let's see if we're any closer to £400 in the GoFundMe account in 0.5 of a mile. Come on. If you're able to donate, that'll really help us, really keep us going, guys. If you're able to share the link, that'll help us. Share the link so that people can donate or come and watch me rule it over. I originally said 30 miles. I'm getting up to 35 now. And trust me, this is starting to feel quite difficult. It's starting to feel quite hard. I haven't gone this far on a bike in a while. By a while, I mean like 3 or 4 years. So you can imagine that my legs are screaming at me right now to get off. But I'm determined. I'm determined to get us to £400 at least. And hopefully, if we get to 400 by 35, I'll do an extra 5 miles to get to us 40 miles in total. Oh. Aye. Come on. Come on, Jason. Keep going. 0.5 of a mile to go. Come on. Aye. 0.3 to go. Come on. Whoa. Push. Push, Jason. Push. Come on. Can we get to £400 in the GoFundMe account? If so, I'll try my best to do another 5 miles. As you can see, I'm really struggling now. I'd only trained mentally to go up to 30, so telling my brain to keep going and my legs to keep going when it's screaming at me is a hard thing to do, because now my brain and my legs are kind of working not in sync but against each other. Brain saying keep going, legs are screaming I've got to stop. But come on, if we can get to £400 in the account. Are we at 400? Could someone let me know? Whoa. If we can get to 400, I'll do another 5. Aye. Aye. Ow. Ow. So glad for clip ones, because when you feel a bit lightheaded, they keep you on the bike so you don't fall off. Especially when it's stationary. Could someone let me know how much is in the GoFundMe account? 335. Right, guys, I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna call it a day. But thanks for joining me. The GoFundMe link will be up for another week to try and share it out, share it amongst friends. Please, if you can donate after this, that'd be great. I'm going to go and have a well-deserved bath or shower, I think. And I'm calling it a day. Thanks for all your support and help. Thanks for coming along and watching. See you all later. Oh, by the way, don't forget Coffee with Jason tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. on here.